What's up, interweb? RhyQuinn here, and welcome to Season 2 of the PPL! Yes! The Pokemon Premier League is back, and I am so excited for this thing to be back. I have been waiting for so long for this thing to return, but my goodness, it is back. We have put in so much work behind the scenes between Season 1 and Season 2, and we are back, and I am so excited, I cannot wait. So, let's do a few housekeeping things to start with first. For those of you that don't know what the PPL is, please go down in the description. There will be links to the PPL YouTube and the PPL Twitter for you guys to keep up to date with things. There's going to be a lot of content on the PPL YouTube channel this season, and any updates about the PPL will be on the PPL Twitter. So, with that said, go down the description and click them. With that said, if you guys don't actually know what the PPL actually is, it is a draft-based Pokemon League. Much like, for those of you that know I'm an analyst for the GBA, it's very much like that. It's a draft-based league in which we have Pokemon battles and things. So, the way it works though, what's different about the PPL is the way we draft. And the way we draft is actually quite different, and that's what makes it fun and exciting and PPL-ish. Words. Come on now. I'm just so excited, I can't even get my words right. But anyway, so this video is basically to explain to you guys the team that I drafted for this season in PPL, and why I drafted said team. So if you're interested about that stuff, stick around. So, this season in the PPL, we have like a new division going down in Division 2 and all that stuff. We have promotion and relegation, we have a load of fun stuff coming. But I am in Division 1 in the PPL. And I'm going to explain to you guys quickly the other teams that are in PPL Season 1. And my team, because it is a little bit different than what you're used to. So, in no particular order, in fact, we'll go in draft order. So, in draft order, we have, first up, we have Shroomraver, coach of the Parasect Jermaine. We have Erasmus, Ethan, coach of the Miami Rotom Heat. We have Evelyn, H2O Drinkit, coach of the Herdia Bremen. Then we have your boy, RhyQuinn, coach of the Nidoqueens Park Rangers. Not the coach of the Nottingham Forest Curse like I was in Season 1. We've been given a fresh coat of paint, and now we are the Nidoqueens Park Rangers. I'm wearing these colours not for no reason at all. We are the Nidoqueens Park Rangers, and these are our colours. Now, next up we have RTK, coach of the Portland Timbers. We have Necrostevo, coach of the Eterna City Enders. We have Kino, coach of the FC Eviton. We have Slyro, coach of the Pittsburgh Pyroar. Shadow Gaming Hub, coach of the Osaka Eevees. Wanzi Bayonet, coach of the Kelter Dino. Shoddy, coach of the Bayern Munich. And last but most certainly not least, we have the Don Fanatic, coach of the Norwich Skitty. So those are the 12 teams in the league this season, in my division at least, for this season. So, let's get into my team. Now, the way the drafting works in the PPL is we have £100 million to spend, because arbitrary number is arbitrary. It's a budget of money that we're allowed to spend on anywhere between 8 to 11 Pokemon. So you can get any Pokemon you like as long as it's between 8 and 11. And of course you can only draft one Pokemon per team. So for example, if someone drafts Talonflame on one team, no one else can draft Talonflame. So that's the way it works. You can only get one of each Pokemon. It's as if only one of each Pokemon is in existence. So, each Pokemon is given a price. We worked a long time behind the scenes between Season 1 and Season 2, revamping the entire price list so that every single Pokemon has an individual price based on their usability and how good they are in this draft-based league format. So every single Pokemon has an individual price, and you have to draft from 8 to 11 Pokemon with your budget. Now, let's get into my team. So, I'm just going to real quick take you through my initial thought processes and what I wanted in my draft before going into the draft. So, there were a few things that I did and didn't want. First things first, I didn't want a Mega. I didn't want a Mega Evolution. Which some people may just be like, what the hell are you talking about? But I'll explain. It was for a combination of a few reasons. First off, last season in the PPL, in Season 1, I had a Mega Altaria, and it did absolutely nothing. It sucked. Well, I sucked at using it, basically. It was supposed to do a lot, and it didn't, basically. And I've just felt like it was a bit samey every time. I wasn't really comfortable using it, didn't really like it. The fact that, you know, I couldn't switch up any items or anything like that was a little bit annoying. I didn't like it, so another reason is that I personally feel that they are massively overrated, and especially in the PPL, because they are a hell of a lot more expensive in terms of your budget than normal non-Mega Pokemon. For example, if you get like a top tier Mega, if you get something like a Mega Altaria, Mega Pinsir, Mega Venusaur, something like that, you're going to be spending £20 million out of your £100 million budget. So a fifth of your budget is already gone on one Pokemon. And you'd have to cut back pretty significantly on your later mons to try and cover those holes that you now have to fill. And for me personally, the way I prefer to do it is to have a load of mons that are very good at what they do, instead of having one or two mons that are really, really good at what they do, and then have the rest of the roles that you need on your team to be filled by mons that are good, but not as good as they could be. For me personally, I much rather have like an even playing field. All of my mons are very, very good at what they do. May not be the best, but they're all very good at what they do, which is what I wanted from this draft. And another thing that I most definitely wanted in this draft was speed. Absolutely wanted speed, because me personally, I'm much more offensively oriented battler. I don't play defensive very much, and I much prefer being on the offensive, having the control, having initiative, things like that. I love that stuff. So having the speed, especially in this format, speed is so important. Priority and speed are so important in this format, and I needed it, absolutely needed it in this, so that's what I was looking for. I wanted speed, I wanted some quick mons, and I wanted some offensive power, because like I said, I'm an offensive battler, generally. So, bearing that in mind, my initial draft plan, what I wanted, and quote-unquote ideal, not necessarily ideal, but a draft that I'd come up with that would cost me £99 million, so I'd have £1 million left over, which should be on the screen right now. Right? That is what I wanted initially. That would be like an ideal draft, okay? That would be like an ideal draft. And for me, that draft on the screen right now had a good mix of everything I needed, had all the roles that I needed, a good range of types, things that I wanted. It looked very good to me. That's not in draft order, by the way, that's in price order. Not 100% sure what order I would have drafted those mons in, but that is the mons that I was looking for. So, to bear that in mind then, just to bear that in mind, first off, I wanted Victini, and I had the 4th pick out of 12 in the draft. And I knew going into it that Shroomrager from the Parasite Domain, who had the 1st pick, was going to get Victini. I knew he was going to get Victini. So I was like, okay, I can't get Victini, who do I want instead? How about Infinite? Infinite works. I used him in PPL Season 1. I absolutely adore the Mon. He's a mixed attacker, he has versatility, which is another thing I really wanted in this draft. I needed versatility, speed, and offensive power. So he had Infinite, which just fit every possible role. It had hazards. I was like, yes, I know Infinite, I know how to use it, I've used it well, let's go for Infinite. All it came down to, I was pretty certain that Ethan wasn't going to draft Infinite, so it all came down to Evelyn, who was potentially going to, you know, snipe it, maybe. So, came to the draft, Shroom drafts Victini, Ethan drafts Clefable, comes to Evelyn, and she drafts Infinite. So my entire draft plan was built around getting Infinite first. Out the window. Gone. Nothing I could do about it. I just got completely sniped first turn, which just threw me through a loop. So I was like, damn it, I wanted Victini or Infinite for my offensive fire types, and I don't really have any backups. I did have a couple, but I wasn't too happy with them, so I didn't really want any others. So I was like, okay, fine. Backup plan, we'll go with what was going to be my 2nd pick, but we'll draft it first. So the first Pokemon we should welcome to the Nidoqueens Park Rangers is Hydragon. Now Hydragon is a mon that I really, really badly wanted. I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's an incredible wall breaker. As I said, it's decently quick. It has base is it 98 speed, I want to say. It has base 98 speed, which is decently quick. It's not super fast, but it's decently quick. It has very good stats all around. Definitely a good move pool, and some versatility in terms of things it can do. It can be physical or special. Can even run defensive. We've seen it in the GBA. Mega Mogwai may go around a physically defensive Hydragon to great effect. So I know it has a lot of versatility, and it is just a fantastic dragon that a lot of people would want. So I wanted to get that early, and I'm very happy I did. I am so excited to be using Hydragon. And by the way, I haven't come up with nicknames for my team as of yet, but they will be on the screen, because I should have come up with nicknames before I started recording this, but I just wanted to record it now because I'm very, very excited, as you may be able to tell. So I'm really excited to record this, so I just wanted to record it now, and I'll come up with nicknames later, and I'll just put them on the screen next to their names. So, as I said, we have Hydragon was our first member, which cost me £12 million. So that's £12 million out of my budget gone. Which is fine. I can deal with 12 million, that's no problem. So we went on in the draft, and the fairy types that I wanted. I wanted Sylveon, and my backup, Togekiss. Both of those got taken in the first round, after me. RTK taking Sylveon, and Shoddy by Munich taking Togekiss. So, I was getting a little bit crazy, and I was like, okay, I have a few backup fairies, it's okay. There's a couple I want. There's things like Aromatisse, there's things like Gardevoir, which then got taken in the second round before it came back to me. So, yeah, Aromatisse was taken. Aromatisse wasn't taken. Gardevoir was taken in the second round when it came back to me, and then Aromatisse was taken in the third round after me, but I decided to draw something else in the meantime, because I was thinking, you know what? Screw the fairy. There's something else that hasn't been drafted right now that I could really, really do with. So at this point, there had been a lot of ones that have been drafted, and I saw this one, and I was like, this hasn't been drafted yet. Oh my god, this was never in my draft plan, because I never expected to get it, because I didn't want it first pick, and I thought there was no way in hell it would ever last back to me in the second pick. So I was like, it wasn't even part of my draft plan at all. But no one had drafted it, and I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. So the second Mon we are welcoming onto the team for the Nidoqueens Park Rangers is Mew. Now, I am not going to say the most cliched phrase ever when talking about Mew and saying it is the definition of versatility, but what I will say is that it is extremely, extremely versatile, and something else that I wanted on my team was another member that could get rid of hazards, so I'm not forced to bring default Mew all the time. But I feel personally, you guys know me, I like to run weird sets. I have a series where I run weird sets, and I generally like to be weird. I run like mono choice teams and things like that. Mew is a mon that I think I can bring out all the versatile options from it. I think I can do really well with Mew, and I'm excited to see what I can do with it. And it really, really works for me, and I think I can make it work. I've had it on a very small league that I was part of before called the Battle Sub League, and I had that only lasted for a few matches, but when I did have Mew on that, I felt like it was a very, very good one to have, and I think now that I have massively improved my battling ability since then, I feel like I can use it even better than I did then. So, I'm really looking forward to using Mew. That pick cost me 15 million, so at this point, if I can math correctly, I'd spend 27, nope, 27? 27! I can math, see, told you. 27 million, and my budget had been spent already. With these two Pokemon. But I thought it was worth it. It was Mew, right? So that was fine. And then it came to a few more picks, and there's only 6 picks from 3 coaches before it comes back to me. Because we had a snake draft, what happens is, so it goes 1 to 12, and then 12 to 1, and then 1 to 12. So all it was 3, 2, and 1, and then 1, 2, and 3, and then it's back to me again. So there were 6 picks from 3 coaches. Now, what I wanted at this point was a mon that originally in my original draft plan was a mon that I was looking at that was kind of like one like, if it's there by the end, maybe I'll pick it up. You know, it's not super important to me. If it's at the end, maybe I'll pick it up if I have the money. It's pretty expensive, so, you know, I might pick it up maybe, but it's not a priority. But when we started drafting, I was looking at it and I was like, I need this Pokemon. I absolutely need this, because I was looking at my team, my potential team that I wanted to draft, and it was incredibly weak to this Pokemon. And then I started looking at everyone else's draft, and I saw that this Pokemon destroyed everyone else's draft so far. So I was like, I have to get it. I cannot wait any longer, because it will get taken from me. I have to get it. So the third Pokemon for the Nidoqueens Park Rangers is Mammothwine. Now, Mammothwine cost me another 15 million, so it's another big spend. So at this point, I had spent, come on, math, work with me here, 41 million? 27? 15? 42? I can't math. Something along those lines, anyway. And, so I brought in Mammothwine. And the reason Mammothwine is so good and destroys so many teams is because in these draft-based leagues, two of the most common cores that people like to draft are Fire, Water, and Grass, and Fairy, Dragon, and Steel. And Mammothwine runs through them. In terms of Fire, Water, Grass, it's super effective against Fire and Grass with its stab moves, and it gets access to Freeze Dry, which can hit Water types, if not, it's just hitting it neutrally. And then with Fairy, Dragon, Steel, it's super effective against Dragon and Steel with its stab moves, and it hits neutrally on Fairies. So it just runs through teams, especially when teams like to, as of late, I've been noticing a lot of teams like to try and draft a Fire, Water, Grass and a Fairy, Dragon, Steel core. Mammothwine just runs through their team. It's absolutely fantastic. It's an incredibly powerful mon, and it as I said, destroys those cores, which is fantastic. And it's a mon that I don't have to prepare for. I have it! People will have to prepare for me instead, which is just fantastic. So, I so badly wanted Mammothwine, and it has other options too, you know. As I said, it gets access to Freeze Dry, it has access to Stealth Rocks, it can do a lot of other things that I needed. So it can be a Focus Sash Lead, it can be a Life Orb, Scarf, you know, whatever I want it to be. It has priority with Ice Shard. So many things that Mammothwine can do, and I'm really looking forward to using it. So then we got Mammothwine, which I was so happy about, so happy about, and then we moved on to my fourth pick. Now at this point, I wanted my Fairy, and I was like, you know what, I'm pretty set on this. I think I want Florges. I want Florges for my Fairy, because Florges, I felt like fit my team pretty well, and I was pretty excited to use it. It was a Cleric, which I could do with. It was something that could tank special hits, had a little bit of special offense, not super powerful, but it was something that could hit decently well on the special side. So it was something I wanted to use. It was a good Fairy type, and it would pair up well with Hydragon, basically. So it came to me, and it came to two picks before me, which was Necrostevo, Eterna City Enders. And he went ahead and picked Florges. So then I had one pick, which was very quickly taken, and then it was me, and I was like, oh god, it's me, I wanted my Fairy, and I don't have it anymore, what the hell do I do? And as I said, a load of Fairies had already been taken. Mega Altaria, Togekiss, Clefable, Aromatisse, regular Gardevoir. So many Fairies had been taken at this point. I was like, I'm running out of Fairies, I need one now. Because otherwise, I'm not going to get a Fairy, or I'm not going to get a good one. I was like, okay, I need my Fairy right now. And I was really struggling coming up with one. But luckily, I was actually, at the time that these picks were going on, I was interviewing Gerhardt for the GBAD League. And what happened with that was we finished the interview, and I was just catching up on picks. And while we were just talking, I just went, "No, he picked Florges. What am I gonna do?" Blah 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 blah. I was freaking out. And then Gerhardt was like, "Okay, what are you looking for? Do you have a Grass type right now?" And I was just like, "No." He was like, "Get Whimsicott." And I was like, "That's amazing. Speed, Prankster. It's a good Fairy, a good Grass type." And Whimsicott was a big problem for me in PPL Season 1. Why not? Let's do it. So the fourth mon on the Nidoqueens Park Rangers is Whimsicott. And I'm really happy to actually get this one. This one cost me 7 million. So I believe I'd spent... why can't I math? What was it? 50 million I'd spent in 4 picks? Something like that. So I spent half my budget in 4 picks. Okay? So that was okay. I was okay with that. But we brought in Whimsicott, which was, no, wait, hold on. 12, 15 is 27, plus 15, wait for it, it's 37, 42, right? 42, plus 7, 49. 49 million I'd spent so far. Right, so I have 51 million left, okay? I can math, guys, I swear, okay? So we brought in Whimsicott, and as I said, Prankster is fantastic. as I said, the speed and priority is so important in a format like this. So getting in Whimsicott is fantastic. It's a good grass type, it's a good fairy type, gets good coverage, it has, you know, pranks to substitute, pranks to encore, things like that. And as I said, it caused me a big problem with the Parasect Germain in PPL Season 1. So I was like, hey, why don't I get it this time? Hopefully I can cause some problems for other teams. So, I'm really happy to get in Whimsicott. I thought it was a great choice, so thank you Gearhart for suggesting that one. It was, yeah, really great addition to the team, I feel. So, that's Whimsicott. And at that point as well, I'd already planned out my next pick. And I didn't know which order to do it in, because I had the next two picks, one of them being Whimsicott, and the other one wanted to be a bulky water. Now, I was originally looking at Milotic, but I'd waited so long that it had already got taken. That's not really a snipe, but it was, you know, it was something I was considering getting if it was still around, but it wasn't, understandably. There was no way it was going to still be around by, you know, the 6th round at this point. 5th round, sorry. So, I was considering between Whimsicott and this other Pokemon. I was like, what order do I want to get it in? And as I said, because we did a snake draft and I'm 4th pick, there are only 6 picks before it comes back to me again. So I was like, you know what? Why don't I get my fairy? Because I do not think this other Pokemon will get taken by these 3 teams. Bearing in mind that the Parasect Germain already had Empoleon, the Miami Rotom already had Starmie, and the Herdia Bremen didn't have a water type as of yet, but I didn't think they'd get it because they already had another Pokemon of the same type that wasn't water. This Pokemon's dual type, and the other type they already had. So I was like, I don't think they're getting this Mon, so I'll get Whimsicott first, and when it comes back to me, I'll get this other Mon. Plan worked out perfectly. I got in Whimsicott, we had the 6 more picks, it came back to me, no one took it. So, the 5th Mon on the Nidoqueens Park Rangers is Tentacruel. So, yeah, the Herdia Bremen, Evelyn's team, already had a Roserade, so I was like, I don't think they're getting in another Poison type. And Parasect Germain and Miami Rotom Heat already had an Empoleon and a Starmie, so I was like, you know what, they're not getting Tentacruel. Let's wait for it, and we'll get Tentacruel next round. So, I managed to pick up Tentacruel, which is very nice for me. It's another way of hazard removal, which is very important. It's bulky, which I really needed, because as much as an offensive player as I am, having some bulk, you need some bulk to be able to switch into things. And Tentacruel actually matches up, it synergizes really well with my team in terms of weaknesses and things like that. You know, it's weak to ground. Hydragon has Levitate. It's weak to Psychic. I have a Mew and a Hydragon for that. So it's like I have things that work with Tentacruel and its weaknesses, which is very nice. So I was really happy with picking up Tentacruel, and as I said, it's another way of hazard removal, which means I'm not going to be bringing Defog Mew every single time, which is great. I mean, my team isn't exactly weak to Stealth Rocks as it is anyway, so I'm not hugely worried about it, but if I do need hazard removal, which you do need hazard removal, then it's nice to have multiple ways to do that. So, having Tentacruel was very nice indeed, and the main reason I wanted Tentacruel as well, though, is because it has base 100 speed, and as I said, I wanted speed on this team. So I have the possibility of running an offensive Tentacruel, which will happen at some point during the season. If the time is right and the matchup is there, I will bring offensive Tentacruel if necessary, and I have no qualms about doing that whatsoever. So I'm really happy to get in Tentacruel. I'm really happy to get in Tentacruel. And that was, yeah, the 5th Mon on the team, and there were a load of other bulky waters going at that point, which was great, so I managed to get my bulky water type, which is another staple that you kind of need in this league format. So, moving on to the next Pokemon. This was potentially the biggest snipe in the entire draft for me, because at this point, obviously I changed my plans quite a bit from my original plan. And at this point, I was like, okay, let's think about this. Let's have a think. I need my fire type, and I need an electric type. I wanted Rotom Heat so badly, and after Rotom Heat, I'd planned out all of my picks. As long as I got Rotom Heat, I planned out, you know, oh, I can get this one and this one and this one, it will come to this much money. I had everything, and I was pretty certain that none of it would get taken other than Rotom Heat. I was like, Rotom Heat may get taken between now and then, but if he doesn't, I'll get everything I want, and I'll be so happy with my draft. It will be everything I need and everything I wanted. So, the draft comes around. Mon's getting taken, Mon's getting taken. Ed Metagross, Toxicroak, Amoonguss getting taken. Donphan, Jellicent, Magmortar, Shaman, Mega Slowbro, Fortress, Hitmonlee, Uxie, Gramble, Kecleon, Thundurus T, Reuniclus. One pick before my turn! Rotom Heat. Rotom Heat gets taken the pick before me. So then I freaked out. So I was like, what the hell do I do? My entire rest of my draft was based off getting Rotom Heat. What do I do? So I freaked out a little bit. As I said, I needed my Fire type, I needed my Electric type. So I was like, okay, let's have a think, What do I need? I looked through the remaining Fire types, I looked through the remaining Electric types. So I was like, okay, let's plan this out, let's think about this. Let's go. Okay, we've got this, we have an idea. There's a certain Fire type that has not been drafted yet that is incredibly good. It means spending more than I wanted to, but I think in this case, it'll be worth it. So let's go for it. So, the 6th Mon on the Nidoqueens Park Rangers is Darmanitan. Now, Darmanitan is so powerful, it is ridiculous. And in PPL Season 1, it put in so much work for Ellie and the Tentacruel and Darmanitan. It puts in so much work, and it's nearly, I think it's just about as powerful as Victini's V-Create. Now, obviously, Victini has a load of other things it can do too, but Darmanitan's Flare Blitz is, I think, almost as powerful as Victini's V-Create. It's coming from a higher base attack stat with sheer force. So, Darmanitan's Flare Blitz is so powerful, which is fantastic. And it gives me another bit of initiative with U-Turn. That's something I haven't mentioned yet, by the way. U-Turn. I have a Hydragon and Mew, and now Darmanitan, which can all U-Turn, or Mew can also Volt Switch as well. So getting that initiative, which is something I'm really a fan of, and Darmanitan, incredibly powerful Fire type. And again, I needed that Fire type. So I'd planned out my Electric type that I wanted next, but I felt like it was time for me to get the Fire type first, and then I could worry about the Electric type, because there were a couple of other Electric options I was looking at in case this one got taken, but there weren't any other Fire types. So I was like, I need this one right now. So I got Darmanitan, and we moved on. I was very happy to get Darmanitan, really looking forward to using it, so we moved on. Again, another 6 picks comes back to me. Only one Electric type was taken in that type, which was Thundurus Incarnate, which I wasn't planning on buying anyway because it was too expensive. By the way, Tentacruel was 10 million, Darmanitan was 13 million. So I'd spent, what was that? If I was on 49, that would have been 59, 72 million up to this point. So I'd spent 72 million, so I had 27 million left to play with. So I came onto my Electric type, and again, I was still in a little bit of panic mode because Rotom Heat got taken from me. So I was like, we'll go with this Electric type. I think it can do some work, so we'll see how it turns out. What I went with was regular Manectric. So what my thought process was in this one, it's a fast Electric type, gives me another Volt Switch, it's fast-ish, it has base 105 speed, and it, provides me some initiative with Volt Switch, and it gives me an Electric Immunity, which is something I needed. I do have Mammothwine, but I wanted a reliable Electric switch-in, basically. And that, for me, was Manectric. Lightning Rod is fantastic, and it's something I really wanted to do, and with that, it becomes incredibly powerful. Allows me to fire off huge hits. Its move pool may not be the most diverse ever, but it's very good at what it does. So, Manectric for me was a very good pickup, providing me with that Electric Pokemon that I wanted. So, wasn't the end of the world, and I was pretty happy with it. So I got my Fire type, got my Electric type, not what I wanted. I did want Rotom Heat, but what can you do? So we moved on in the draft. As all the things were getting picked, I had my plan. I had a plan after that. I planned out again when Rotom Heat got taken from me. I planned out all my remaining Mons, and I was like, yep, that's enough money. We'll go with that plan. As more Mons got drafted, it came back around to me again, and it was coming close to my turn again, and I was thinking, oh god, I've just noticed something. I have a horrendous ground weakness. An absolutely horrendous ground weakness, especially with the Pokemon I was planning to draft in the next few picks. I had a huge ground weakness, which needed to be rectified, which I wouldn't have had before if I'd have got Rotom Heat. But I couldn't, because I didn't get Rotom Heat, which would have given me a ground immunity, and instead I picked up Darmanitan and Manectric, which are both weak to ground, which gave me a huge one, as well as Tentacruel being weak to ground, And Mammothwine and Mew, neutral. Hydragon has Levitate, sure. But Whimsicott resists it, but isn't the bulkiest mon in the world. And the mons I was planning on drafting, one of them was 4 times weak to ground. One of them resisted it, but is incredibly frail. And one of them, it hits neutrally. So I was like, no, I cannot go with that. I need a ground immunity. But I also want a fighting type. Hawlucha. Hawlucha fits perfectly. Absolutely fits perfectly. We'll go with Hawlucha. It's so expensive though. Do I really want to do that? Turns out, I had to do it. I needed that ground immunity, so the, what is it? What are we on? 7th? 8th mon on this team is Hawlucha. Now I'm really excited to use Hawlucha because again, it is very quick, very powerful if used correctly. And it gets recovery in the form of Drain Punch, which is fantastic. It's a great move to have on Hawlucha to extend his longevity. And as I said, he hits incredibly hard, very quick, which again is something I really want on this team. With Unburden, he becomes lightning quick, that most teams are just going to be straight up outsped by it. Even with Scarfers, it will still be outsped by an Unburden Hawlucha, which is fantastic. I say fantastic a lot, and I don't mean to, but what are you going to do? So again, I was very happy to get it. My original plan that I wanted to get, instead of Hawlucha, I was going to get Hariyama, which is a lot cheaper. Hawlucha costs 13 million, and Hariyama, I believe, costs 7, so it was a lot cheaper. After Hawlucha, I was going to get Excelgor and another mon that I'm not going to come to because I did actually draft that mon next. So I wanted Hariyama and Excelgor. So, but because I got Hawlucha and it cost me so much more, I had to get rid of Excelgor. I couldn't draft Excelgor anymore, which I'm really upset about because I wanted Excelgor from the start. I really, really badly wanted Excelgor in this draft. But the other one that I ended up drafting after Hawlucha was more important. So after drafting Hawlucha, I had 8 million left. So I only had 8 million left. It was enough for one more mon that I again, this was another mon that I wanted since the start. So again, it came back to me again after these next 6 picks, and this ended up being my last pick, the 9th mon for the Nidoqueens Park Rangers. The final member is Aggron. Now I am so happy I got Aggron on this team. Aggron is my favorite Pokemon of all time, and if you guys haven't seen me use Aggron before, watch me use Aggron. Banded Head Smash is nothing to mess around with. Not to mention base 180 defense. Not to mention the fact it gets Stealth Rocks. Not to mention it actually has an incredible special move pool. Who knows when that can come in handy. So, Aggron as well is a fantastic Steel type, and it helps me with my Fairy Dragon Steel Core. And you know, I also have a Fairy Water Grass Core, Fire Water Grass Core as well. So, Aggron for me was a very important pickup, more so than Excelgor, which I really wanted Excelgor. But you know, whatever. What can you do? So, I brought in Aggron, and I was really happy with it, which left me with 2 million left over. It's potentially enough for 111, but I didn't want to draft anything just for the sake of it. So, I decided to leave it there, and then Nidoqueens Park Rangers was finished. But my goodness, did we get sniped along the way. The fire types that I was potentially looking at before Rotom Heat, I was looking at obviously Victini, Infinite, Entei, Rotom Heat, Emboar potentially, but I ended up going with Darmanitan, and then there was all the fairies that I wanted, you know, the Sylveon, Togekiss, Aromatisse, Gardevoir, potentially Clefable, but that got taken second, so there's no way. It was just so many things that I wanted, and so many plans that I had to be altered every single time, and it was just, it was a nightmare draft, but I'm still really happy with the team we've got. I'm really excited to use this team, and I think, wow, that's rather loud, and my laptop is running out of battery. Sorry about that. So, I'm really happy with my team. I'm really looking forward to using it, and I hope you guys are looking forward to seeing me use this team as well. I feel like I have a pretty good team. It has a lot of roles that I think work very well, so I'm looking forward to using it. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe that draft though. That was... you should have heard me in the... We had a call going in the PPL. You should have heard me when things got sniped. Oh my goodness. It was something else. It was something else. I think the only person that got sniped as much as I did was probably Shardy. And that was absolutely ridiculous. I know some people went through the entire draft without even getting sniped, which is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know how they managed that, because I got sniped like 17 million times, but you know, whatever. So that's going to wrap things up for this draft analysis for the Nidoqueens Park Rangers. Thank you very much for watching. If you guys are supporting the Nidoqueens Park Rangers this season in the PPL, leave a comment down below and let me know if you are hyped for the matches to start, which will be very, very soon indeed. The first match will be uploaded on September the 5th. That's Saturday, September the 5th, and there will be every single week, every Saturday, for the foreseeable future. There's actually the draft is still ongoing right now. I've got my team sorted, but the draft is still ongoing, and the Eternity Enders just picked up Kabutops, which is very interesting indeed. So, anyway, I'm getting sidetracked and I'm rambling. So thank you very much for watching my PPL draft analysis for Season 2. I hope you guys are excited. And again, please go in the description and click all the links for the PPL YouTube channel and the PPL Twitter. As I said, there will be a lot of content over on the PPL YouTube channel, so make sure to go over there. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in another video very soon. Toodaloo.